Hey, what's up, Conroe kids, and welcome to another Home Groups for Kids. This year we're talking about God's core values and how these principles shape our lives, our church, our relationships, and our walk with God. Last time we talked about the family. Our next core value is missions and outreach. Matthew 28:19 says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." I got something for you. Hey kids, what's the mission? The Great Commission. I'm sure you already know that because we talk about this a lot in kids' church. And that's because making disciples and spreading the good news that Jesus came to this earth, lived a sinless life, died on the cross, and was resurrected on the third day is our mission as believers in Jesus. Missions and outreach is all about taking the amazing things Jesus has put inside our hearts and taking it outside of the four walls of the church to reach people both across the street and across the sea. You might be thinking, why is that important? Can't we just go to church and wait for the world to hear the good news and come into our church? But the thing is, if we don't share the good news of Jesus through outreach and missions, it will be impossible to reach the whole world for Jesus. So, what are outreach and missions? Outreach is when we meet a need in our local community. We do this by giving our time, energy, money, and resources to serve those outside of the local church. Each year, our church serves breakfast in the park downtown to those who are homeless or don't have access to food. Another way we do outreach is through our backpack ministry, when we send home food for kids of low-income families so that they have food to eat over summer break. These are just a couple of ways that we serve our community through outreach. Missions is a little different. Missions is a ministry to a targeted group of people who need to hear the gospel. There are two different types of missions. World missions, and in which God calls special people called missionaries to go to a certain country or part of the world to meet those groups of people. Most of the time, the missionaries spend time and energy learning the language and the culture of the place they're going to serve. The other type of missions is to a specific group of people. There are missionaries that minister to biker gangs or to rodeo cowboys or even in prisons. There are also special missionaries who minister to people who have learning disabilities. These are all people who God desires a relationship with, and missions is His method of reaching them. You might be thinking, well, what does that have to do with me? The answer is so much. If you look back at our Great Commission, you will notice that it tells us to make disciples of all nations. Not all of us are called to go to a different nation or people group, but every single one of us are called to support those missionaries as we effectively work together to take the good news of Jesus Christ to all nations. This is why we take up a BGMC offering each week. We want to be senders and help fulfill our Great Commission. So here are a few questions that I want you to ask yourself about outreach and missions.